Hey guys, I am here with this. This is the 2022 Mazda CX-5. Let's get into it. But before we do, please go ahead and push that subscribe button. Thanks so much. Okay, so the CX-5 is the best-selling vehicle for Mazda and actually one of the best-selling small SUVs in the country. It competes with vehicles like the VW Tiguan as well as the Toyota RAV4. It has a lot going for it for the cost, but it has a few things that really bugged me, and I want to tell you all about them. The first thing that you have to admire with the CX-5 is just the way it looks. It's clean, it's simple, it's elegant, it's really actually refined for a car that starts under $30,000. You've got to give it up to Mazda for that. Oddly enough, one of Mazda's new competitors is actually itself, because a few months ago they came out with the CX-50, which is a little bit smaller than this and designed to be a bit more off-road and rugged. I drove that, I would say in April, so please be sure to check out my video here. And how the CX-50 compares to the CX-5 is really interesting. They talk a lot about how Mazda is a driver-centric vehicle, and while I really felt that with the CX-50, I didn't feel it as much with the CX-5. Now, Mazda is all about the drive, right? So there are so many things that this car gets right. Number one, the steering is incredibly precise. So while you're parking this, you'll be really happy. Two, the brakes are fantastic, which really helps with the sort of feeling of everything being safe. And three, the transmission was fantastic, and this is the turbo. So the issues with the CX-5 being underpowered, you just don't have it in the CX-5 turbo because you've got that extra torque and horsepower with the turbocharged engine. Now, some of the things that I was less thrilled about are inside the car. Let's get into it. Okay, so inside the CX-5, there is plenty of room, it's spacious. Other people have commented that they felt that the interior was elevated. I think the design is fine, but the way it all feels on the interior still feels pretty cheap to me. You know, I guess that's personal preference. But the place where it really loses me is, although Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard in this vehicle, the controls in the center, and I've talked about this in the CX-5, the interface for the infotainment is really, really frustrating. It's just not intuitive at all. And simple things like there's no volume right here. There's no volume button here. You can control it on the steering wheel, but otherwise the volume's right here beneath your gear selector, which is a really odd place. And frankly, if you have someone in your passenger seat that you're not that close with, it feels like you're kind of invading their space. I think that's weird. One of the things where the CX-5 really excels is in terms of safety. It's got 5-star safety ratings across the board. It's got standard safety suites, which are fantastic. It's even got this city driving safety suite, which essentially operates at lower speeds. And as the system recognizes an obstacle in front of the vehicle and anticipates that you might need it, it brings the brake pads closer to the brake itself. So it's sort of a bit of pre-braking, and a lot of people really love that. In terms of driver comfort, there are two cup holders here. There's a cup holder in the door. There's also a center console here which has a nice little rack to store things, and there are also two USB chargers in here. This vehicle in particular comes with a charging pad right here, but it's kind of an odd one, to be honest with you. Maybe we can zoom in on that, because it has a little ridge for the charging pad and your phone falls down. Okay, in terms of the rear seat, of course, we've got the 60-40 split. So we've got the center seat as well as one of them here. It opens really easily, as you can see, which is kind of nice. It's got a pretty strong spring, so you want to be careful when you open it because it really could whack you in the face, but it makes it a lot easier for people who don't want to use a lot of oomph to open it. And then in between the two seats, in the middle seat, you've got a nice armrest here that has 2 cup holders, as well as in this model, the seat warmers, and a little center area with 2 USB chargers, which is fantastic. The one thing that I don't see back here is the climate controls are really only to turn on and off. You really can't, there isn't like a other climate zone, which is a bummer for your backseat residents. But if they're your kids, who cares? The trunk in the CX-5 is perfectly enormous. I'm showing you here a bag for scale, so you can see this holds many, many grocery bags. Plus, here in the trunk, you've got a little control here that pops the seat down for you, which again, you have to watch that because this thing is really aggressive. So if you had a kid or something precious there, it could damage that. So you want to be careful. So there you have it, Mazda CX-5. Who's been refreshed for 2022 is a great value, and in this model, which is the turbo all-wheel drive, you get a lot of oomph for the money. I'm Motorhead Mama. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.